Hey guys, it's Dennis here with Collider Games. I'm with
Tony Revis.
and we're here to review Trover Saves the Universe. This game is exclusively on the PlayStation 4. You can play it on the regular PS4. You can play it on PSVR. You can play it on the PC through Steam. But when I mean exclusive, it's not available on the Xbox or Nintendo. Right. People who don't know, I'm a big Rick and Morty fan.
Yeah.
And so Justin Roiland, who is the creator of Rick and Morty, he created this game, Trover Saves the Universe. I played the demo of it last year at E3. I think you and Dorian played it when you guys...
San Francisco, the PlayStation VR event.
Playing it. Are you a big fan of Rick and Morty?
I'm not a huge fan.
Okay.
I haven't seen every episode, but I do enjoy the show. And I've seen a number of episodes, and I enjoy the humor. And I'm a big fan of Justin Roiland ever since... Cosby House or whatever. I've seen that, and that's insane. It's just more of the same when it comes to
Yes, it's the same type of humor. So if you were a fan of Rick and Morty, this is, obviously the same creator, but it's the same type of humor, the same animation style, the same type of jokes. The voices are the same, which they make fun of. If you go to the Rick and Morty like Instagram or Twitter, you'll see it's an ad for this game using Rick and Morty, saying, hey, and they make fun of it, like, why are the voices exactly the same? Yeah. They are. I mean, basically Trover, the main person you control, your character is actually a Cherorpian, and you control Trover, and his voice is basically Morty's voice.
Sure, yeah.
You don't have any voice, but then if you go around and fight people, you'll hear Rick's voice, and it's all Justin Roiland stuff, and it's not a long game. It's about 4 hours. Yeah. It's weird. It's like a first-person, third-person platformer with puzzles.
Yeah, it's a puzzle platformer. There's combat, but it's not the main function of the game. It's pretty basic, but it's a very interesting use of VR in the first-person, third-person way that I've never seen before, and it was really interesting to get a taste of that. And that's kind of why you can play it without VR, because it is third person, first person. Yeah. So you don't have to play it. I think if you get the chance, definitely do play it in VR, just because it is so immersive, and it just makes the experience better, being able to look around as opposed to using the stick and everything.
Yes. Yeah.
It just made it seem simple. Like it didn't feel like first person, third person. Like I felt like I really was sitting in that chair. Like that part I would completely forget about. That I was like a second character almost, besides them talking to you and everything. But it felt so smooth being able to just control Trover that I feel like if you're playing without VR, there'd be a little bit of a learning curve.
Yeah, it's a little bit harder if you were playing it right. Not that you can't have fun playing it on your PC or the PlayStation 4, but not being able to see the depth of like a lot of the stuff is like some jumping in a 3D space and like. You being able to look at it in a VR setting, you can more exactly land where you need to land.
Yeah, because then once you get upgrades and stuff, you can lift up to get different heights, so you can solve puzzles by going up higher in your chair and things like that. Just would work. It just works so great in VR to be able to see where to go, where you're going to land, to be able to solve these puzzles. Yeah,
I mean, really, if you're I like the game overall. I think the 3 to 4 hour. Yeah, it's short, but for this game, it works.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Because, it does start to get a little repetitive after a while, because, they do have little upgrades to what your character can do. But eventually, there's only so much you can do. Like, the enemies are there's, like, a few different types of enemies, but it's not, like, a huge wide range. They're not exactly smart enemies.
Yeah, combat doesn't really get tougher throughout the game. Yeah. It's pretty much the same thing throughout. The puzzles get tougher. Yeah. But when it comes to like the combat, it is repetitive, but never boring. So I think that's a good distinction. Like it never felt bored of like, oh, I got to fight these guys. Like that was always fun, but it was never like, oh, I wonder what I got to do to beat these. Like it was all pretty much the same.
Yeah, they kind of blended it together with the story, the humor, and the combat, where it was like you weren't getting too much of everything at one time. Because I think that's why they kept it short and sweet, and they have multiple different levels, so that you weren't in one place so long where you're like, man, I'm just tired of being
here.
They
did keep it fresh, and the nice thing about it being short too is you can take your time with it, knowing it's going to be short. There's no need to rush through the game, especially like in between worlds. when you're getting kind of plot points or whatever, there's a chance for you can sit there and literally watch a conversation for like 5 or 10 minutes before it forces you to move forward, which is just entertaining in itself. So you can extend the game as long as you want in that way. And there's no end of humor, and the story is fantastic. And
I'm amazed at how much dialogue was recorded for this game, and like how kind of. I remember there's one part, like there's these 2 guards in a castle, and they just keep talking.
Yeah, they're just roasting you the entire time, kind of in the peanut gallery.
Yeah, and
the entire level.
I walked away and came back, and I had left it on, and came back, and like eventually they get to a point where they start going to a loop of
they recycle, but it takes a while.
Yeah, it takes.
And they'll comment on what you're doing.
Like, hey, why are you over there?
Yeah, why are you moving that block?
Exactly.
It's not going to help you. Yeah, those kind of things. And so much fun.
Yeah, so overall, I mean, it's not a complex game. It's not a hard game.
No.
It's not a long game.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's humorous. It's the story. The story is ridiculous, but it fits the type of game.
But there's a lot of redeeming qualities to it, where it's like it does have kind of a nice message, but it's really focused on the humor, so it doesn't have to get too serious. But they knock it out of the park, and that's what's going to drive this game and going to make
definitely an adult game.
Definitely. Well, you can play on a censored version, which I don't know. There's this mature and censored, but it's Rick and Morty. You're going to want to play if you're,
Yeah, I mean, if it's uncensored, it's more R-rated. It's more R-rated than Rick and Morty.
Oh yeah, by far, which is hilarious. And some things like I would be saying like, "Oh boy," it would shock me, which is hard to do.
Yeah, they go offensive.
Yeah, they don't shy away from it, and that the story and the humor, that's what drives the game, and there's no end to that. And at no point through playing the game was I like, all right, let me just keep going to get through it. Like, I didn't want it to end.
It's fun.
But when it ended, I wasn't like, oh, I wish there was more. Like, I was satisfied.
Yeah.
I was satisfied.
I'd like to see a sequel.
I would love to see a sequel.
It doesn't have to come out next year, but like in 2 years, Trover Saves the Universe Part 2.
And there is free DLC coming to it. There's a point when I can see what they might do. There's like some random character that shows up, and he even mentions that. Like, and I was like, oh, that'd be funny if that's what you play the game again through a different perspective of what else is going on. And I wouldn't be surprised the reception this game's getting and how well done it is and how much time they spent into these characters and the story. I wouldn't be shocked to see somehow Trover appears in Rick and Morty, even at least as a joke or something at one point. But it just fits so well with that universe and everything. They knocked it out of the park.
What score would you give it?
I would give it 8.5 out of 10, which just because how charming it was, and charming might not be the right word, but just the story and everything, and the gameplay was very basic, but it never felt boring. As repetitive as it could be, it still was fun. The puzzles were good. I never felt like there was only one part when I was like, what do I do? I always felt accomplished when I solved the puzzles. I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing it. So overall, great experience. I think 8.5 is a fair score for me.
Yeah, I'm going to give it an 8. I think it's one of those games where you don't have to be a gamer to play it. It's very easy. Combat's easy. Puzzles, they're not, I wouldn't say the puzzles are like easy, but they're not hard either. You just have to take your time with it, and it's just
you'll never need a walkthrough or a guide. No, you'll be able to do it. You'll be able to figure it out, which is nice.
Yeah, and it's fun being in that world, and if you enjoy more of a story, and humor as well. So, all right, guys, that's what we thought of Trover Saves the Universe. Post your comments below. Make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, youtube.com/collidergames. Tony, where can people find you?
You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @IamTonyRevis.
And you can find me on Twitter @ThinkHero, Instagram, Dennis.tzng. Until next time, see you guys later.